From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, greetings, travelers. It is great to have you here listening in to the Badass Counseling Show. I'm Sven Erlandson, the host of this show. And whether you are listening out on the highway or out on the ocean, maybe you're on a lake, maybe you're in your bathtub. If you are near water, this is for our water people and our travelers in any form. Maybe you're just in an airport. And I hope your wait for your flight is not long and that your seat is comfortable on that flight. I am joined in studio by my team. I've got KC. She is actually with us. She's not in studio, but we've got her by remote. And I've got Rob, the Rocket, sitting next to me. KC and Rob, hello.
Hey, man. How's it going? Everything good?
Everything's great.
I expect that. You're always looking out for us. We appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you here. KC, I hear you're there.
I'm here, and I'm freezing. Waiting for winter to end.
Oh, well, I tell you what, Casey, we'll try to take your mind off it here. Tell you what, let's go. Rob, would you tell me about Sal, please?
Absolutely, Sven. Sal wrote in, and Sal said, my mind spins with all the pain, neglect, and implicit messages I got from my mom after my dad died. My parents had me when they were older. My mom was 45 and my dad was 55. My dad died of pneumonia at 62. Both of my parents hoarded stuff. The implicit message I got was the stuff was more important than I was. I think my biggest trigger is being dismissed. When I get dismissed, it triggers the feelings of bad or not good enough, not wanted, and loneliness. I have tried to fill the void with women, drugs, alcohol, gaming, and TV. I do love my mom despite the pain she's caused, continues to cause, and refuses to acknowledge. I realize that moving out would likely help my mind, but the regret, guilt, and betrayal I would feel tells me it's not the right thing to do. I want and need her to own the damage she's done so I can better be there for her than she was for me. Sven, I know you're going to love that part and eat away at it. And by the way, is there any other word or phrase to express trigger without using that exact word? I need your guidance to help me heal and stop defaulting to anger when I feel triggered.
Sal, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sven. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I'm so grateful.
Great to have you here. Thanks for coming on. All right. You said, I do love my mom despite the pain she's caused, continues to cause, and refuses to acknowledge. I'm wondering, you say she continues to cause you pain, continues to. What would be the primary form of the pain she is presently causing you in your life?
Avoiding dealing with the junk that's in the house, not taking accountability for things she's said, things she's done, and it's always basically come down to this stuff.
It's the stuff. Well, you said two things. You said A, it's the stuff, and B, not taking accountability for the stuff she's said and done. And so I'm curious then, if you were to take those two things, the junk in the house, because she's a hoarder, and then the stuff that she has said and done, and what percent is the pain that she causes you presently, the junk-related stuff, and what percent is it the stuff that she's said and done in the past?
60% stuff, 40% said and done.
Okay. And so you say that, so you guys live together, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're what, in your 30s? Where are you at?
I'm 26.
26, all right. Great. And not that unusual nowadays, and not bad considering the economy. It's hard to find place. No disparagement from me on that one. I lived off and on at my parents' in their 20s, or my 20s and into my 30s. So it's not that big a deal. And in fact, in some cultures, and even in some nationalities within American culture, it is still common and expected. It still happens a lot with you. You know, in my girlfriend's Italian family, very common. So no shame over that one. However, it does leave me wondering one thing. If you were to put it into one sentence, what is the reason you continue to keep a person in your life who has caused you so much pain, continues to cause you so much pain, and refuses to acknowledge the pain that she has caused you? One sentence.
My dependence on her.
My dependence on her. And specifically, in what way above all else are you dependent on her?
Financially, and I guess like physically, for like somewhere to live, somewhere to be, somewhere to call a house. But I guess it's I'm lacking the home part. Okay.
And so if, let's just say, I know that you are gainfully employed. I think our producers figured that one out. And I'm not going to ask you what you do for a living, but I believe you're gainfully employed or something along those lines. And so if you were to take out the financial picture, let's say you could afford to live on your own. Hell, maybe you can. I don't know. But it sounds like you can't at the moment. So if you were able to live on your own financially, okay, then what percent of your dependence on her would be financial, and what percent would be a place to live?
Probably 25%. No, 95% a place to live and 5% financial.
Okay, and if you could afford to live on your own, then why would you need a place to live or want to live with her?
It's that I don't want to let go of my childhood home. We also have this arrangement that once I am financially stable enough to handle the bills, it becomes my house, and we'll make that transfer.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. How much of you holding on to your relationship with your mother, keeping in your life the person who has caused you, continues to cause you, and refuses to acknowledge all this pain? You've got this person who's just has flagellated you in your life with pain, neglect, and implicit messages, and caused you all this pain, continues to and refuses to acknowledge it. Is the primary reason that you are continuing to keep this person in your life because you want the house? Or is it because you feel regret, guilt, and betrayal if you were to move out, as you mentioned in your paragraph? Actually, put a percentage on it. What percent is it that you want the house, and what percent is it that you feel like regret or betrayal?
99% the regret and betrayal, and
1% the house. Okay. Well, then, if you would feel regret and betrayal, explain to us, help us understand. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame. I'm not dogging you for it. Why would you feel regret and betrayal? For a lot of people, that's hard to get their head around, that this woman has caused you so much pain. And I take you at your word. I believe you, okay? Through the neglect and the pain and the implicit messages, and continues to do it by not acknowledging the pain that she's caused you, so your wounds still hurt inside. She refuses to do it. And so why would you feel regret and betrayal and guilt walking away?
Because I still love her, because she's my mom, and I know she's sacrificed a lot for me, having, grown up on fixed income. But also, I mean, similar to you.
Wait, just so I'm clear, she sacrificed a lot for you. What precisely did she sacrifice for you, as you understand it, so that we understand?
So I had a really fantastic opportunity and privilege to go to a private high school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wells affiliated high school.
Got it.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that was basically like buying a used Jeep a year. So on a fixed income, that's really hard to even imagine.
Okay, that's fair, and that is significant, and I'm in no way disputing that is significant. What is the purpose, or as you see it, even from her perspective, the purpose of you getting that fine education?
Honestly, it was to get me out of trouble. I was getting into trouble before high school, hanging out with the wrong kids.
Yeah, but come on. There are a million fucking private schools, some exclusive private school, church affiliated in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She could have done a million other ones. She could have sent you to a sort of, military style prep school. I mean, there are a million other choiars.
I have family down there.
Okay, you had family down there. Okay.
I do.
Okay.
My aunt went to our synod college down there to become a teacher, and then got married and moved down there.
Okay. But is the purpose? So the purpose was to get you out of trouble, but it sounds like the purpose of the education was not for you to launch and go and begin your life. The purpose of the education was
you're too much to deal with.
Well, yeah, but it sounds like now. It's like she gave you that, so now the expectation is you should stay and take care of her.
It started way before that, though. I mean,
understood, but it's almost retroactively. I'm just trying to understand what's the purpose in getting a great education if you're not going to use it.
I tried. I applied to RMC here in Canada.
Understood. I'm not dogging you for not getting a job. That's not the point. What I'm trying to get at is that you got this education. I asked you, why do you feel a sense of guilt, regret, and betrayal if you were to move away from a person who has caused you an immense amount of pain? And you said, well, she sacrificed a lot for me. And I don't dispute that. But unless I'm mistaken, the purpose of a parent sacrificing for a child is so that the child can begin and have a happy and fulfilling life, not stick around for me. And furthermore, not eat my shit. I'm curious, what percent of you feeling guilt and regret and betrayal? And you're doing great, man. You're doing great. These are hard questions. What percent of your guilt, regret, and betrayal comes from internally, just from you, solely from you? And what percent of the guilt, betrayal, and regret comes from mom? Either explicitly or, as you say, implicit messages.
75% mom. 25% me.
And if those numbers were not quite accurate, if there were, maybe they're perfect the way they are, but if they were slightly off or somewhat off, what would be more accurate numbers for where your feelings of guilt, regret, and betrayal are coming from? If it weren't 75-25, what would it be?
35, whatever the other number
65.
is.
65. All right.
I hate math.
No, you did great. All right, so we're gonna go with your 65 to 75. We'll pick one. We'll pick one in the middle. 70%. Okay. So you 70% of this guilt and betrayal is coming from mom. So double, or it's basically double. Actually more than double. Then coming from you. So she wants you to feel bad if you leave her. So the expectation is that you will stay seemingly indefinitely to take care of her. Is that correct? Or when has she sort of implied that you are released from the obligation to stay and take care of her house full of junk and her?
When I can afford the house and she can afford in-home care. So she can't afford to get a long-term care or go into retirement without selling the property. The property's paid off. There's no mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
Once I own the house, she'll be living with me without having the expenses of owning a house, and will be able to afford a nurse that comes in every day to take care of her. And then when it's my house, she doesn't have a say about the stuff in it.
Right. And we might believe that, except presently she has twice as much power inside of you as you do. So the notion that she wouldn't have the power to say, no, you're keeping this stuff, you'll forgive me as an outsider, it's a little bit hard to believe. It's a nice theory.
Yeah, it's a nice thought.
But if this is a woman who has not acknowledged pain she caused, and this is a woman who continues to hurt you and guilt you and so forth, it sounds like to some degree she's not necessarily a person that I would trust on her word. And so I just find, and you can do whatever you want. It's your life. I'm just curious, for every, what is it costing you in your life to stay with this person and in this house? Because it sounds like this, you've got it planned out. It's this beautiful golden day in the future when you inherit the house after you find a job that can actually pay for this and so forth. And so I guess what I'm asking is, what is it costing you now?
Soul energy.
And what percent in a given year of your soul energy is being sucked out of you by this relationship with your mother?
My gut instinct is saying 80%.
80%. All right. 80% of your soul energy is getting sucked out. All right. I want to flip it over here to our next guest. Rob, go ahead and tell us about Pierce, if you would.
Certainly, Sven. Pierce also wrote in, and Pierce said, I'm a domestic violence survivor who lost her son to murder in 2012. I think the major issue I have is a lack of closure. There are no answers from law enforcement, and at this point, I doubt there ever will be. My son's murder was not only most likely gang-related, but his body was moved from the scene of the crime. So the evidence was always complicated. The day I lost my son runs through my mind in bits and pieces. I think of the phone call saying I had to identify him, and the sheer terror of that moment we lost him, not to mention the ignorant things people say. To this day, I deal with people who believe it was my fault. It's so much to process and handle. My son's murder occurred not long after I left an abusive marriage. I also had a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old to raise. It all seems like such an impossible bad dream.
Pierce, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Pierce, I cannot even begin to imagine what that experience was like and has been like for you. What's it been like? Describe it for us. To have a son murdered 14 years ago, tell us what that is like.
To this day, it's still hard to believe it really happened.
How old was he when it happened?
He was 19.
He was 19, so he'd be 33 today.
Yeah, he would have been 33. Yeah, and the way I started to, I don't know, to come to terms with it in a sense, because I had 2 other kids to raise, and they're grown, successful, both have good careers, thank God, got their education. The only thing I think that really even got me even to start to move through it is when I started to read. I still go into shock over it sometimes. It's a cycle. But I start to read and research and look into it and how often this happens in American cities.
And so where did that lead you then, or how did that lead you into sort of growth or healing or working on your stuff then? Was there something in particular that you read?
I don't know that I am in a sense guilty of not working on me.
Fair. You just brought up reading. That. I was wondering what the major takeaway was from the reading.
As a mom, it's hard to work on you because it's just, you raise kids for years. What do you work on you?
Uh-huh.
Give me a baby. I don't know what to do.
You would know what to do.
It's hard to get started with that, especially, growing up in a very, I love my family, don't get me wrong. I adore my family, but growing up in a very Roman Catholic dysfunctional family, there was no taking care of you.
Mm-hmm.
I also grew up with a very sick mother. She was crippled.
Wow. And so growing up in a home like that, what was the single hardest part about it?
The guilt of existing and always being the object of everybody's frustration.
And how did you finally get past or get through that guilt, or is it something that still afflicts you today, Pierce?
I think it's still there, and especially after losing a child, that survivor's guilt. I don't think that's ever going to go away.
So let me ask you then in that regard, that dealing with guilt and survivor's guilt, and I don't think that'll ever go away and so forth. I want to ask you, you said that the biggest thing at this, that the major issue I have is lack of closure. Okay. And then you go on to describe that, which can't even imagine how maddening all of that must be, has been, etc. And then the stupid and hurtful shit that people say, terrible. I can't even imagine. I do want to ask you regarding that desire for closure, if you were to use a word other than closure, what precisely, if you're saying, I don't have closure, what precisely is it that you're wanting? Because you're sort of giving the impression that this case is just sort of never going to get resolved and they move the body and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be never ending. So then when you say closure, what really are you wanting? Help us understand. If you were to just put it as tightly as possible.
I guess to live again. I mean, to live in a sense, without that weight on you.
Okay.
To wake up without, I'm the mother of a murdered kid.
And what do you think it would take? I mean, because to me, and again, I am asking as an absolute dummy, as someone who has never gone through anything anywhere near that. I've counseled plenty of people who have lost children, some to murder and so forth, but I've never experienced it. Okay, so this is an honest question. And if you don't want to answer it, don't answer it and so forth. To live again without that weight of being the mother of a murdered kid, knowing that you are the mother of a murdered, beautiful son whom you loved very much. That is fact. So when you say to live again without that weight of that, is it living without the fact that you are the mother of a murdered son? Or is it somehow, yes, I know I have that fact. That is part of my story. It is now woven into the tapestry of your life. So it's not, is it that it's not the fact of it? Yes, I know that's the fact, but the weight of it that you wish you could be released of. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yes. If I could just say, I think to know that's part of my story, without being sucked into the spiral of different memories, emotions, and all that fun stuff that run around my mind.
Okay. And so you've no doubt listened to our show before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've seen my videos and so on and so forth. And you've likely listened to counseling episodes of the show and question and answer sessions of the show. If you were to sort of name what one or two of the themes are that you hear me coming back to on the show with different guests or in answering people's questions, what would you say are the themes that I often tell people or sort help people sort through or encourage people to do? What would you say?
You have to dredge. I don't know if it's dredge, but you have to go through the pain and all the shit, as you would say.
Yes.
Internally, you have to go through all that and process all that.
Yes.
You know?
And it's bringing you to tears, the mere thought of it, isn't it? Yeah. And let it out. It's all right. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that. And so those wounds are still fresh. There hasn't been the healing. And the idea of, you actually picked a really good word, dredge. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And that's sure as hell what it would feel like to go into that stuff. And you've spent a lot of energy, 14 years, trying to run your ass off away from all that stuff because it's just too hard.
Yeah, I guess I use my kids and pets as like a positive diversion. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'll just raise a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just hang out with my dog. And I was also diagnosed with PTSD. So like my dog is a big deal. It's not just a dog.
Okay. So
it's like my steady companion, my ride or die, my
what kind of dog do you have, Pierce?
I currently have a 21-year-old Chihuahua.
21. Wow.
And I got her, let me see, I actually got her like a month before my son died. She was a stray. Let me see if you can we see you? Is that her?
Yes, I can.
That's Chica.
That's
Yeah,
Chica.
she's not 21. She's blind.
Blind. My dog, one of mine is blind. And so you love your dog, and that with your kids, those are positive diversions. So you are spending a lot of life energy, and likely have been for the last 14 years, diverting yourself from the pain. And the one thing I'd asked you, what precisely are you wanting? You said to live again without the weight of being a mother of a murdered son, murdered kid. And I asked you, what precisely does that mean to live without the weight? And you said to not get sucked into the spiral of memories and emotions. And then I basically asked you, then why the hell did you come onto my show? Because I'm going to tell you got to, dredge it up. And I mean, there are ways you can divert yourself. You can cope. Yeah. I'm sure your therapist has recommended some, coping mechanisms or maybe some medications and so forth. But you chose to come onto a very show where I'm basically, my theme, my method is to bring up the very thing that you most don't want to do.
Yeah.
All right. So I have to believe you had a lapse of judgment there, Pierce, or what the hell are you thinking, young lady? All right.
Yeah, I actually I lost my insurance, so I don't have medication or therapy access at this time.
Gotcha.
I have crime victims counseling that I can go to.
That's great.
But my antidepressants I had to go off about 3 months ago.
I'm sorry to hear that, and that's going to make everything worse. We're going to come back to both of these stories of Sal and Pierce right after this short break.
My best friend made me listen to some podcast, said it had blown her away. So we listened to a lightning round of the Badass Counseling Show together. All I can say is, wow. First podcast I had ever listened to. Now it's my addiction. If you haven't done it yet, you need to subscribe to the Badass Counseling Show.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform, and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with Sal and Pierce. Sal, actually, before I'm going to turn to you now, Sal, but Pierce, I want to just shift off of what we were talking about with regard to you. And you said that if I put a baby in your hand, you're an expert. When it comes to momming, you are a pro, and I have no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So I'm going to ask you a mom question. As a mom pro who has gone through things as a mom that most people haven't. And you said that your son's murder was most likely gang-related and so forth, and which has its own issues and so forth. And then I've got this young man, 26 years old, sitting here talking with us, who was involved with women, drugs, alcohol, gaming, TV, was in trouble as a teenager. And isn't this just fucking interesting? And what the funny part is my producers said to me, we've got two stories that are not alike at all, yet isn't it interesting? Here we are sitting here. And people who don't, my assistant Kate, you would be shocked how little control we have over scheduling, because people will commit and break agreements and so on and so forth. So the two people we land on may not have been the two people we ever intended. And you two were not intended to be together. So this is quite a fluke. So the question I want to ask you, Pierce, what's it like for you, Pierce, to sit here and listen to a son in turmoil over a mother who has caused him pain, causes him pain, and does not acknowledge? What does that feel like for you?
I have things, there's always things that pop into my head that I would like to say or suggest. Support him, let him know that her illness, she has an illness. Hoarding is a legitimate illness. Not that he should feel guilty. Okay, I'm not saying that, but the thing she doesn't says, I hope and pray he gets to the point where he understands it. The things he does The things she does and says have nothing to do with him. They're coming from her. They're coming from her pain. The pain she inflicts on him, although it's terrible and wrong, it's still hers. It's a tricky thing because you never want to say, think about everybody before yourself, because that's totally messed up and toxic.
What do you think this young man, he's in a situation that's toxic every single day. And he's staying in part because, gee, I can stick around and get the job and then get the house, then the roles can flip and then mom can get help and then. But he's also admitting, I'm 99% staying because of the guilt, feelings of guilt, regret, and betrayal if I left. And those feelings are 75% coming from mom. So she is guilting him into staying in a situation where he feels guilt and betrayal if he gets out, and she is hurting him.
I would suggest, try to build a local support network. CODA meetings are good. Codependent Anonymous meetings.
Do you believe that he has a right to walk away from his mother and begin his life and get away from someone? Not that he ever has to be mean to her or anything like that. I'm saying, does he have a right to move on with his life and begin his life?
Of course. But I can expect that it's not going to be a smooth move.
Oh, no shit. No, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And so, Sal, as you and I went through our questions of things that I asked you, and you one of the things that we pulled out was that you're experiencing about an 80% loss of your soul energy, your life energy every year because of this relationship with your mother. And we pulled out these other statistics that I just cited there when I was talking with Pierce. So what's going on inside you? Give me a feeling word of what you're feeling right now, Sal.
Like, I'm getting that tight chest. Sorry, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so, I want to say bad for Pierce,
mm-hmm.
but I know there's a better word that I'm trying to get to, because I can't even imagine what it would be like to lose a child.
Sure.
I'm not a dad yet. It's something I'm hoping I can do one day.
And we will, and I'm going to bring you back at the end, and I'll ask you then at that point, what words you might have for Pierce and vice versa. But I guess what I'm wanting to focus on right now with regard to you is, as you think about this situation with your mother, I want to know what it makes you feel. And you said tight. Any other feeling words that it makes you feel as you think about this situation that you are in with your mother, where you
angry? I'm fucking pissed, man.
And above all else, in one sentence or less, what are you fucking pissed about most?
The dismissal. Every time I try and bring up something to try and have a conversation, it's instantly shut down. Just reinforcing you don't matter. You're not important. I never wanted you.
And what's fascinating is your word choice. Dismissal, the Latin of that word, missa, is from mitta, which means to send, and dis means away. Every time you bring, she's sending you away, but the one thing you refuse to do is to go away. She is conveying a message time and time again over 26 years, get away from me. And by the way, if you do go away, and she's saying it on the little things that you want to talk about, the things that are little to her, but the things that are big to you, she's saying, send away, go away, go away. But on the idea of you actually going away, she makes you feel guilt. So she is simultaneously holding on to your collar of your jacket, of your lapel of your jacket, and punching you in the face.
Completely.
But let me ask you, isn't it more accurate, though, that you're holding on to her collar while she punches you in the face?
Yeah.
Because the simple truth of the matter is that you could walk away.
I could. I don't want to.
And the main reason you don't want to is what?
I'm afraid of what? I don't know.
What are you afraid of?
Repercussions,
Specifically
failing.
what? What repercussion above all else do you most fear if you were to walk away? Presumably you'd lose the house, so that's off the table. Is that the biggest repercussion, or what is the biggest repercussion? Is it something she would say?
Yeah, probably the I'll remember that.
I'll remember that. I had a sibling who used to say that, and he would remember. And then we get older and you just decide, well, I'm going to live my life anyway. The saying that I'll remember that has the effect of causing you to what?
Fear.
Right. And not do the things you want to do or say the things you want to say. Keeps you living in fear. Right. I'll remember that. And the assumption is that I'm going to remember it. I'm going to hurt you in the future. But she technically only has the capacity to hurt you in the future if you are near. If she sends you away, dismiss you, and you go away, how would she hurt you other than taking away this house?
Then I would really be alone.
I see. But let me ask you, your father passed away when you were 7, I believe. No, 17, 7.
No, 7.
Right.
7.
Your father. So you've been alone from your father since you were 7, and your mother has been pushing you away and hurting you since you were a child. So I need you to explain to me how you haven't been alone all your life, because it sure sounds like you have.
I mean, even though with all of the crap messages, she tried to give some counter messaging, giving the there's nothing that you can do to make me love you less, infinite chances.
Wait. She said to you, there's nothing you can do to make me love you less?
That's been a repeating message throughout my life.
There's not. Wait. Just so we're clear, she has literally said those words. There's nothing you can do to make me love you less. Has she actually said those words to you?
Yeah, and
Wait.
Not in the negative way, but that she is so full of love for me that it's impossible for it to be less than what it is. Right?
I think that statement would be, there's no way I could possibly love you more. My heart is full. Or to just say, there's nothing you can do to lose my love. Okay.
Yeah, that's
but
the
she
message.
Didn't say that. But wait a minute. Did she fuck up?
Am I just remembering it wrong?
That's what I'm asking.
I might just be remembering the words wrong. That's completely possible. But the messaging was, there's nothing you can do. Oh, there's nothing you can do to make me love you. Yeah, less.
Really?
I swear to God.
I love you so little that there's literally no way I could possibly love you less. You are literally the most unloved person, the person I love the least. There's literally nothing you could do. I couldn't possibly love you less than I already do. And you know what? The beautiful part is, even if that is a misquote, it actually sums up how the fuck she treats you. She is not treating you. It's just fucking words, man. Whatever those words were, it sounds like they made you feel good. So we'll assume the best. But whatever those fucking words were, it's fucking words, because her actions are saying fuck you.
So I was listening to one of your shows back from 2024 or something, talking with a couple of your guests who talked about how their dad would destroy their toys and their Barbies, rip their heads off in just pure hatred. It was complete pure attack on them and what they prized. And this is my show and tell that I have. This was one of my first toy swords that actually came with a hilt.
Oh, it's a toy sword. Okay.
Yep.
And
So it's a
Thank
toy
God, I
sword.
was trying to.
right. Okay, so what's your point? What's your point?
We were having an argument. I can't have been more than, I don't know, 9. We were having an argument about this stuff and how I wanted to play, and she was telling me that the stuff was more important than I am, and I'm not important to her. And she ripped the sword out of my hand, bent it and twisted it, trying to break it, and I just broke down. There was nothing I could do, and it was, one of the prized things, one of the last things my dad got me.
So she simultaneously said, I couldn't possibly love you more, while she is breaking the very last toy that your father ever got you.
Pretty much.
Okay. KC, Rob, I gotta bring you in here. Thoughts on that one? The last part, Casey, where the messaging that she's conveying to him is basically, there's nothing I can do to love you more, while she's breaking the very last toy that his father ever gave to him right in front of him.
I mean, I can't even imagine how damaging it was to him. I just want to hug him right now, for the kind of pain that would have inflicted on such a young little boy. With this precious thing that his dad gave to him, and this person basically saying, I don't really love you and I'm going to break your shit. And that means so much to you.
And so in your work, Sal, in your work that you've done on yourself and so forth, what are the feelings that you have explored most, and what are the feelings that you've explored least?
Fear, anger.
Are these most or least?
Most.
Okay. Fear, anger. Okay.
Hatred.
Okay. And what are the feelings you've explored least?
Probably just trying to remember.
Trying to remember.
Anything that, makes me try and remember things.
Okay. And one of the ones that doesn't show up on the radar there is sadness. Does sadness show up on most or least, or what?
Most. Definitely most.
Okay. All right. I want to flip back over to you here, Pierce. I want to know why you would come onto a show where the primary theme is dredging up the past stuff. And as Sal himself said, the one thing he's really done the least of is the remembering. He's got the feelings of anger and sadness and hatred and fear. Okay. And so he's hasn't done the remembering as much, right? And you fully admit you do your best to stay distracted from the remembering. Why, and I love you, darling, but why the fuck would you come onto a show where the message is to dredge that shit up? Why? When you fully admit, I don't want to get sucked into the spiral of memories and emotions. Why would you do that?
Part of me, I don't know if it's a fire sign thing, but it's a thing where I try to challenge myself. Maybe it's time to go there a little bit with some prompts.
All right, that's fair.
With a professional, yeah.
All right, that's fair. So let's go there a little bit, and we're not going to go all the way into it. We're just going to sort of nibble at the edge a bit, and we can abort at any moment. Abortions are legal when it comes to this conversation, okay? And so my question is, Miss Firesign, my question to you is, what if you were going to go into one of the memories, which would be the single scariest, ugliest, nasty, most emotionally charged memory of all of your memories, if you were going to go into it? We're not going to tonight, but I'm just curious, which would be the biggest one to go into for you?
The phone call.
The phone call.
The phone call where you get the call. We found the body. We need you to identify it. The medical examiner is coming over with pictures. That phone call. Yeah.
Okay. And as I said, I'm not going to make you go into the phone call. All right. We found the body, identify it. We need you to go through some pictures. What I do want to know, though, is what I'm curious about is, of all the memories of all the memories and of all the experiences, and none of them are right or wrong. And again, I've said it, and I don't know what it's like, so I am asking you to teach me. Okay, why? Why is that the hard one? Why is it not the memory of, I accidentally ran over his favorite play toy when he was 7 and I still feel guilty? Or why isn't it the memory of that night when he left the house and I'm mad at myself for not giving him a hug? Or we ended it on a fight, even though we never ended on fights. Why, of all memories, and I'm not scolding or putting it down. I'm just asking a straight question. Why that memory? Why is that the hardest one for you, Piercy?
Yes, because it was the one that took all the other chances that we're gonna work things out. He's gonna grow out of this. He's gonna stop acting the way he does, and I'm gonna, as a mom, be firm but loving and supportive, and go visit him in jail or what have you. And because I always did. No matter what he did, I went to visit him.
And so they took all of those chances away.
All the chances, yeah. And when you see people that, especially in rougher cities, like that live their lives that way and live to be, and they straighten out. Some straighten out, some don't.
Right, some do. That's right. So there was hope. As long as he was,
do, but they still get to live.
And so there was hope. And so in that call, all hope got washed away. When you got that call, what was the single biggest feeling that you felt during it or immediately after the phone dropped out of your hand or whatever it was? What was the biggest feeling? What is the biggest feeling that you equate with that phone call?
Agony.
I want to ask you a strange question. And it's a question that almost doesn't seem to fit here. But it's a question I ask of parents who are, and they have an adult kid and maybe the adult kid is estranged from them or something like that. And I want to ask it of you. If your son were alive today, and remember, you don't have to answer this question, okay? You don't have to. It's totally. If your son were alive today, and you could have him, you could have a relationship with him, but he would not be healed of whatever pains you might have caused him, the ones you feel guilty for, all right? Not the bullshit ones that people accuse you of. They can go fuck themselves. I mean the ones that you genuinely feel guilty for or where you dropped the ball, and as we all do as parents. If you could have him, he wouldn't be healed of the stuff you did, but you'd have some kind of relationship with them. Or your son's alive, but he's fully healed of the stuff, the gunk that you caused, but you don't get a relationship with him. Which would you choose? So he's alive in either case.
I was such an idiot and such a moron, okay, that my son couldn't be happy and healed with me in his life. Then I would have to let my ego go. I'd have to change some things so that I could be in his life.
But if you either get the choice of he's healed, but you don't get a relationship with him, or he's unhealed, but you do get a relationship with him.
I would want my son to heal. I would want him to heal.
So you would sacrifice yourself and your own interests so that your son could be alive and healed and happy.
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Yes, you would. To know that your son is alive and happy would bring joy to this mother. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
And flipping over to you here, Sal, what's missing from this equation as you listen to Pierce? What's missing? I don't want you to comment on Pierce. I want you to comment on you as you hear her talking about that question. What's missing from the equation as that same question relates to your mother and you? Would your mother answer the same?
Yeah, I think she would.
Really?
I do.
She wants you to be happy, even if it meant and healed healed of the stuff that she caused you. You believe that you can build an argument that she wants you to be healed of the stuff that she caused you. Is that correct?
Yep.
Then why has she taken no steps to actually heal the stuff that she has caused you? In fact, she continues to cause more pain. See, I guarantee if Pierce's mom or Pierce's son were alive today, she would be begging him to forgive her. She would be atoning for every last goddamn thing. She would say, any conversation you want to have, anything you want to lay on me, bring it. I want to own it. I want to unburden my son. I guarantee it. I don't even need to ask Pierce. We heard it in her voice. I don't see even a trace of that from your mother, yet you are convinced, oh yeah, she wants me healed. Yeah, as long as she doesn't have to own her shit, it sounds like. Isn't there a pill you can take or something, son? Is what she's fundamentally saying. Go take a pill. Go do something, but I'm not owning shit.
After my dad died, I was still too young to, stay on my own or do anything like that. So I would get dragged to her quote unquote therapy appointments. And I would be playing behind the chairs in the big office he had, and I remember him, the therapist, telling me to be quiet when I was getting too loud and I was being interruptive. And then I remember when I was old enough to stay in the waiting room by myself, I would make forts behind the couch under bookshelves, crying, telling myself how alone I was. Yeah.
And what do you make of that? Your reason for bringing up that story is fundamentally to convey what point in one sentence or less, Sal?
I never mattered.
No, you didn't. And despite all her fucking bullshit words, today, you still don't. You exist, however, you do exist in her life for a purpose. What is your real purpose, Sal?
To confirm that she is a good parent.
And you're doing a fine job. Even tonight, you're doing a good job of protecting her. To confirm that she is a fine parent.
I'm also, I'm not an only child. I have a half sister
Mm-hmm.
who has made my mom feel like she's not a good parent. So I got that, what do you call it? Golden child?
Oh, your mom fawns on her or dotes on her or something like that?
No, me. I'm the golden child out of us.
Well, your sister clearly has that one mistaken, as so often happens with golden children. Right. And so then, what in one sentence or less is it that you most want to say to your mother that you've never said to your mother before in your entire life? Maybe even that you're most scared to say to your mother. And I'm not going to tell you should say it. I'm just really fucking curious what it would be.
It's horrible, but I don't think I'm going to actually be able to start healing until she passes away.
Understood. You didn't answer my question.
That is the thing that I am most afraid to say to her.
I don't think I would be able to start healing until you pass away.
You pass away.
Why is that the scariest thing to say to her? Or why is that the thing you most want to say to her?
Want to, but I'm afraid to.
Why do you most want to say that to her?
Because I think that might just show her how much she's hurting me and that I need her to change. I need her to fucking support me.
And you think that would cause her to really hear you, is what you're saying. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think it's the last thing I have to say.
And yet you haven't said it. It's the last thing. It's the only thing I haven't said because that's the only thing that has a chance of causing her to change. And I think the reason you're scared to say it is because it's not going to do shit. If Vegas were giving me odds, I would literally take my left arm and say, I will give you my left arm, Vegas. I will bet it all, this whole left arm, that she is not going to fucking change. Why? Because we have a 20 6-year pattern of behavior of your mother's that indicates she has no interest in deviating from that pattern. And the pattern is dismiss, send away, to not own. And I think that would hurt more than anything, to know that, shit, I really am alone and she really and truly doesn't give a shit. And the truth is, I don't believe for 1 second that you need her to pass away in order for your healing to begin. I don't believe that for a second. In fact,
Not
I know
begin, but finish.
No, I don't even buy that. And that's the big fallacy. So many people twice your age are like, I'm waiting for my parents to die, then I'll finally be relieved. Do you know what they'll report a year or 4 years later? Yeah, it was a relief for a bit, but guess what, Sven? I'm like, I know how this sentence ends. And they say,
Still hear the voices.
Yeah, doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
The person goes away, but the messages that got pressed into the wet cement of that child's soul, those messages are still there. I want to flip it over to you, Pierce. And my question to you, Pierce, is a strange question, but what is the one sentence you most want to say to your beloved son? If God brought your son alive long enough for you to say one sentence, to give him one hug and say one sentence, and then God makes you a deaf mute after that, or at least mute after that till your son is gone. So you can only say one thing. What would you most want to say?
Forgive me, but I had 2 small kids to consider.
And knowing your son, the beautiful side of your son.
Yeah.
Not the part that went down that other road. And, we've all got demons, and he had his. What would your son likely say to you now as a man, and you get that hug, and you say that, forgive me, I had 2 small ones to consider as well?
When he was clean, shortly before he died, when he was clean, he would tell me, I'm so sorry for the way I acted. And I'd be like, dude, you were 15. Who isn't an asshole at 15? What
would he say to you when you said, forgive me, but I had 2 small ones? What would he say to you in one sentence?
Say, forgive me back.
Beautiful. Forgive me back.
Because that's how he honestly was when he was clean.
He loved his mama. And he felt bad for problems he put you through. And you felt...
Yeah, he was in his right mind, he did.
Understood. And you felt bad for the things you put him through, it sounds like, and the decisions you chose.
But they were very 2 different people, honestly.
Understood.
Him being clean and him being very different. I was going through a really tough separation, and the ex, being the man that he was, would have made it a lot harder for me to keep custody, and I had to protect my younger kids.
Okay. Right.
And
you had a hard decision to make, and you made it day in and day out. And it was hard.
It was me, but yeah.
I want to bring Casey and Rob into the conversation. Rob, anything you want to add here, or should I bump over to Casey?
Just that I've noticed how interesting it is to see things from both sides of a parent being so burdened by the loss of a child, and a child being so burdened by the pain that the parent is causing. I mean, it's 2 sides of the same coin. It's so hard to deal with. And when you talk about flushing or dredging, what could be more dramatically difficult than what Pierce is facing? It's just stunning to me.
Well, and that's very interesting, and it raises an interesting question. And I'm going to bring Casey here in a minute. And people often say there's no greater pain in the world than the death of your own child. But I offer there's one that is in the ballpark to be a child and to lose your parent.
Yes.
And we have somebody with us right now who was a child. He was a 7-year-old boy, and his father passed away 7. Now, I have memories from when I was 7. I have memories from when I was like 4. 7? Shit, I got a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you even make that assessment? And obviously it's no comparison that could ever made, but we're so quick to say the hardest must be losing a child. And it's not fair to even compare, and we're not going to compare. But boy, also the child that loses a parent, the extraordinary pain of now I'm alone. And then that boy, in this case, Sal, is left alone with the person who would end up being the greatest antagonist and attacker of his entire life, not his protector, that in a way his protector died and left him alone with, in my estimation, is a monster.
Yeah, and Sven, how the surviving parent then deals with the child, that's so critical.
That's right. And in this case, not only didn't deal with, takes into therapy. You take your child into therapy with you? Really? And then you let the therapist tell the boy to shush? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. First of all, that child does not belong in a fucking therapy session to begin with. What fucking person, 2 persons made that genius decision? But on top of it, you are left alone as a boy, Sal, with your greatest attacker. Your protector died. What are you feeling right now, Sal? Give me a word. The tears are coming out of your eyes, flowing out as you're petting your beautiful dog there. Give me a feeling word that you are most feeling right now at the thought of all this.
I like the word that Pierce used earlier, agony. I just feel pure agony inside. I miss my dad.
What do you miss the most about your dad? Above all else?
His shoulders. I felt like the king of the world up there.
That's beautiful. I love that. And what do you miss the most about your son, Piercy?
He would always make everybody laugh. He just was such a goofball. Just start making everybody laugh. Imitating the way people talk, different voices, different characters.
And what do you think your son would most want you to do now with your life, Mom?
I want me to laugh and enjoy my life. That's what I think. He want me to laugh.
And yet you've got all this agony in you.
What the fuck is all this depression up in here? He would say, and then start shooting people with water guns. That's how he was.
Sure. And he'd want you to laugh again. What would your father most want you to do, Sal? Considering all that, where you're at and all that's going on inside you and in your life, what would he most want for you?
Honestly, he would probably, if he was around, if he was here to, help my mom, he would want me to move out. He would want me to go and see the world and do the traveling I want to do.
Well, wait a minute. Let's assume he's not there to take care of your mom. Let's assume he's in the room with me right now, and he says, I'm not there to, quote unquote, take care of your mom. What would he want for his son?
I wish I knew.
Speculate, please. He put you on his shoulders. He made you feel like king of the world. What would he most, if you were to speculate based on the father that you knew, what would he most want for you or want you to do?
He would want me to feel happy. He would probably want me to try and work things out with my mom somehow, but at the same time, he moved out pretty early and joined the military.
Okay.
So that's why I'm torn and I'm not sure, because he it could go both ways.
Okay, then here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring Casey in. I want to get some input from Casey.
First of all, I think that this show has hit me like no other show. I mean, especially I wish our audience could see the both of them. They're both beautiful people. I mean, you guys are just amazing and beautiful, and my heart breaks for you. Sven, the way that you wove the two stories together is exactly how it should be, because these stories have everything to do with each other. And I think the reason that it's breaking my heart so much is because it's the two greatest loves of your life. It's, your love for your parent and your love for your child, and how we hurt each other. So to you, young man, I think the most important thing that I have to say to you is that your mother is manipulating you
Thank
to
you.
stay in that house. Um, she she is very ill. Obviously, like, hoarding is an illness. She's probably had her own trauma or loss or anxiety or fear that is driving this behavior. And, I'm going to tell you something. My daughter came to me one day. I was a lifelong smoker and I could not quit smoking. But my daughter came to me one day and she started crying and she said, "Mom, you're going to die from that stuff. And I'm going to be without you. And I need you to be around." And that was it for me. I put the cigarettes down. I never smoked again. And that's what your mother needs to do. She needs to take care of herself. She needs to get help. She needs to get therapy. You can't do that for her. Please don't try to do it for her. The only thing that you can do in this world is to try to heal yourself, try to get strong enough to get out from under her. In whatever time it takes you, you need to get out of that house. Don't stick around for a house that's going to be worthless because she has trashed it with stuff and it's corroded and falling apart, or whatever's going to happen to it.
And
Like,
you may
it's
not even
worth
get it in
nothing.
the end.
You might not even get it in the end, and it's not worth it. You can work hard and get your own home someday, somewhere. You are a young man, you're a bright man, you're a sensitive man, and you're a handsome man.
Yeah.
So stop waiting around for her. You're going to be okay.
And the truth is, and just to interject here, Casey, stay on. You yourself said there's no way she could get care without selling the house. So if you could actually let go of having the house, she'll be fine. She can
Yeah.
sell the house.
Let her sell the house and get the care she needs.
Let her grow the fuck up and stop mooching off of her son, because she is sucking 80% of your life energy out of you. And I've held my tongue until now, but this is no. You came on this show. You didn't come on this show because you thought I was gonna fucking say, yeah, you should stay and take care of your mother and try to sort this shit out. I don't think I've ever said that to a fucking guest who's eating shit from anyone. No, you came on knowing full well what I was going to tell you. And what I'm telling you is, at some point, kid, you have to choose yourself. Your mother is whatever the hell age she is. She's made her decisions. She can take care of herself. I see a mountain of shit in the background there behind you. Oh, I see it. Oh, even more. Folks, it's just like on TV. It is literally just like on TV, worse. Okay?
Except there's a beautiful young man with his whole life in front of him in the middle of it.
Well said.
There's no
Casey.
garbage. There's no rats or smelly stuff. It's just boxes and chairs
up to the
and
ceiling. Yeah.
desks and boxes.
KC, what else do you want to say? KC, what else do you got?
To Pierce, I want to say that, I think I'm a little bit like you in that I have to get away, very far away from my pain before I can look at it. And I think that you are right there. You have gotten far enough, just far enough away from your pain, and your pain is greater than any of us, that you are just able to start looking at it. And so I encourage you to follow that and get the help that you need. Potentially, NAMI has support groups, and they're free, and you could probably find parents just like you that you could join a support group. Because there's no, I mean, I know Sven won't agree with me on this, but for me, there's no greater pain than losing a child or losing a parent.
Or losing a parent. That's the
Or
only
losing
thing
a
that I would
parent.
add. That's right.
Yeah,
Those two things.
those two losses are, there's just nothing greater, because those are the
Primary
greatest loves
relationship.
of our lives.
Yeah.
Right. Primary relationships, greatest loves of our life. So I hope that you will get to be in a support group and to follow what your heart is telling you now, which is you're ready to start really healing. And I really believe that your son forgives you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that, and I do actually follow different. It's a lot of Facebook. It's a Facebook addiction thing in a way, but there's a lot of different people that I talk to, and that's when I start to learn that this happens. It's sadly, this happens a lot,
And
and there's a lot of different parents and mothers that I have been talking to since 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And you have both used one particular word, and you have a lot in common. One, you've used one particular word, agony. You both have agony inside of you. You have both fully admitted that, in Pierce's case, I don't want to get sucked into the spiral of memories and emotions. And in Sal's case, Sal, you flat out stated the feeling you've done least isn't so much feeling, but it's the actual remembering. So neither of you wants to go into your shit, yet both of you fully acknowledge you have agony inside of you. And so I'm going to tell you what you came on the show knowing you were going to hear. And it's like, you fuckers got to go into your shit, man. I mean, from where I'm sitting, that is the work. And if you got to start in small doses, like today, guess what you did, Pierce? You said that you named the hardest thing. It was that call. It was, we have found your boy. We need you to identify the boy, and we need you to go through photos. So you literally today, you did a bit of healing on that. Why? You talked about it. I tricked you. You talked about the hardest thing, and we just skimmed over it. We didn't go into it, and you didn't say, okay, well, then when they said this, then what did that feel? Then when they said this, what did that feel? Now, that's something you can do in your journaling and in your support group and so forth, but look at that accomplishment that you've already had. Just in our little conversation, you talked about it. The hardest thing. I didn't pluck the littlest thing. I plucked the biggest thing. And I just asked you, well, what would you tell me? And you said those things and so forth. So look at you. And I said, what was the hardest part about that call? It took all the chances away. So you talked about it a bit more. You got down into a feeling. And then I asked you, and what was the biggest feeling? You said agony. So look at you. You did it. You did it. And you as well, Sal, that you were talking about, that I never mattered, and you exist, confirm that she's a fine parent, even though she's not. You're helping her believe a lie. You're creating a facade that she needs to believe, because you walking away is you confirming, no, Ma, you weren't. That doesn't mean I don't love you, but you aren't a good parent. You're hurting me. And Pierce basically flat out said, I'd do everything in my power to never hurt my son again. What a profound experience it must have been to sit here, Sal, and hear a mother's love over her child, her deceased child, and all the guilt that she feels and all the things she wishes she could say, and to hold him again. And you are literally getting the exact opposite. That what you're hearing is just bullshit lies, because your mom's actions are the fucking opposite of anything that Pierce is saying. And they're the opposite of her words. The opposite of your mom's own words. She's hurting you. And you are fundamentally choosing to stay with someone who is hurting you. And I said, if you wanted to, you could move out. And you said, yeah, I could. You could figure out a way. And it's hard. But fundamentally, what you have to do, I don't doubt that you've gone into those feelings of fear, anger, hatred, and sadness, but there's got to be a whole lot more, because if you still feel agony inside, that says you've got it wrapped up, those feelings and more wrapped up around dad, those feelings and more wrapped up around mom, and how the sadness over her not giving you meeting the needs that you've had, but also hurting you more. So you've got a lot in there, and all that, it's got to come out, and it's got to come out. All right. Or you can choose another path of distracting, or other therapists have different methods. I'm just saying that for me, the method that I teach is you go into that shit and you attack it, and you just go in and you start journaling. You start writing a letter. In Pierce's case, Pierce, write your son a letter, then write him 4 more, then write him 14 more, and just keep flushing. In your case, Sal, writing letters to your father, writing letters to your mother that you don't send. And you don't really have to worry about her finding them because there's so much shit in that house. She's not going to find anything. Anyway, but the bottom line is you guys got to start fucking flushing this shit out of you. Rob and KC, I'm going to give you sort of final thoughts. Any final thoughts or questions? No from Rob. KC, any final thoughts or questions for Sal and or Pierce?
No, just that I think that they're both in actually a better place than they think. I think, Pierce, you're right there. You're ready to deal with this. And Sal, she's just manipulating you. You got to get the hell out of there.
She is.
I know it's hard, but you got to get out of there. Stop letting her dangle that carrot in front of you. The house is not worth you losing your whole life over. You're a young man. If the house is meant to be yours, it'll be there in the end. But get out there and live your life.
Yeah, and I think that's very well said, Casey. And the biggest thing, what I'm seeing, Sal, honestly, is fear. And it's the fear of being alone in the world.
Mhm.
And it's not just facing all the stuff inside. I don't dispute that. I'm not disputing you have a lot of agony in you. Not one bit, neither of you. But in your case, Sal, I think it's the fear of being alone in the world. You already know that you have been. And your mom's been a comfort blanket that smells of urine, and it has all sorts of porcupine prickly pines on it. And that's the best you've gotten for a security blanket. And it's time to let that prickly porcupine blanket go and to set it down. And I know it's scary, but what you're going to discover is the more you have the courage to choose you, you're going to begin to attract people in your life. And I talk about this in Love Cup, and There's a Hole in My Love Cup. You're going to begin to attract people in your life who treat you better, who treat you well, people who become your family. And you will discover in life, and I didn't discover it really until my 30s, maybe even my 30s, people in your life when friends become even closer than family. When some old man down the street sort of, takes you under his wing a bit, or when, the lovely couple that live in the apartment next door are nice to you and become friends, and you're going to discover a sense of connectedness that you've been longing for with your mother that she never gave you, not in any real way. But at some point you have to choose you, and you have to walk into that fear of all the feelings inside, and fear of a big world knowing you're alone. And it is scary. It is scary, but you're doing all right. And I like what KC said. You're in a far better position than you may think, Sal. You really are. And there are opportunities, and it's when you're ready, and there's no rush. When you're ready, it's time to choose you, because none of the things, if this, then that, then I get the house, then she'll have care, then. The real tragedy would be getting 10 years down the road and realizing nothing had changed. And fucking hell, I've wasted 10 years. But gee, now I can't leave because blah, blah. And there would be some new can't. And Pierce, like Casey said, I think it's, you're right there. You're close. And in both you guys' cases, honestly, it's just, in the end, it's the choice. Do I choose to go into it? The fear, the pain, the aloneness, the sadness, the rage, all of it, and begin to let it out? Or do I choose not to? And you're not bad if you don't. It's okay. But that's where the healing is, and that's why everything boils down to courage. Everything. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on the show. Thank you so much, Sal, for coming on the show. Pierce, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure was ours.
It's been such a wonderful learning experience, and I love the special kind of different advice that you guys give, and just the support. It's extremely reassuring.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And do you have one sentence for Pierce? I promised you that. And Pierce, do you have one sentence for Sal?
I believe in you. That's it. I totally believe in you.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you so much.
And Sal, one sentence for Pierce.
All I can think of is wishing you the most utter, heartfelt strength to go into the things that are so terrifying to even think about. You know,
Beautiful.
It's hard, and we can do it, especially with the badass help.
Well, you guys got this, and you can do it. And Casey reminded me just now that there are a few things. We do have the free support group on Facebook, the Badass Counseling Group, that you can definitely take advantage of that. There's no charge to that. And we definitely want you to keep in touch with the show. I want to make a note to you and to our listeners that this is, I believe, the longest show we've ever had. And
believe so.
Yeah. And Rob insisted that we go long. Rob insisted.
I appreciate it so much.
He knew that these stories required it, and he's the one that gets stuck with most of the work on these, editing and mastering it. But he said, no, we're going longer. This requires it. So please know that we do care about both of you and want you to stay in touch with the show and let us know on your progress, please. Okay?
Most definitely.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. You bet. You bet. Thank you. And to all of our listeners, I know we send a warm thank you to our guests and to our listeners around the world. Thank you for tuning into the Badass Counseling Show with Rob and KC. Have a kick-ass day. Slay your demons.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.